It's definitely not an action movie.
No.
You said that's a pretty dark comedy. But I like that movie. So, Die Hard 2. Die Hard's a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it made $140 million. Probably a $26 million budget. Made $140 million.
Which back then was big numbers.
Yeah,
right?
That's big movies for a movie in the 80s. I don't know what the average ticket price was, but it wasn't fucking $20 like it is now. So they make a sequel 2 years later, which comes out in the summer. Die Hard 2. Die Harder.
Which is funny already.
Is the subtitle. I think it's mainly known as Die Hard 2, but the subtitle is Die Harder. Which I think when it goes to the title in Die Hard 2, it says Die Hard 2, and then it says Die Harder.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Rennie Harlin directed that. I know we talked about Rennie Harlin when we talked about The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yep.
Which is a Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas.
Go back and listen to that episode.
Go back and listen to that episode.
We also have Chris on that one. It's a really solid episode, I think.
Love it. Die Hard is a great action movie, and I'll say it again, Long Kiss Goodnight is a very underrated action movie that a lot of people should watch. Written by Shane Black, and surprisingly, this one is not written by Shane Black, but with all the Bruce Willis quips and good one-liners,
it feels like
it does, right?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it does. Or it was written by Shane Black. Takes place at Christmas time.
Maybe influenced by him.
Lethal Weapon came out the year before that, so Shane Black had written that. Lethal Weapon takes place at Christmas time. There might have been some influence. I know Joel Silver, producer on both movies, so very possible. But Die Hard 2, pretty good. It's a bit of, in my opinion, a weaker rehash of the first.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say that it's bad, because there's some really great action sequences in that film as well. But not as good, and as good of a character actor as I think William Sadler is. He's no match for Alan Rickman in the villain department. But a solid B, I would say. Solid B, whereas Die Hard's an A+. And then Die Hard with a Vengeance, which I think is much better than the second one.
Mm-hmm.
McTiernan Returns, which we mentioned.
Perhaps that's why it was missing that.
Perhaps, yeah.
Missing the eye. Of McTiernan.
Rennie Harlin is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say he's a great director, but he's made a couple of great films. Long Kiss Goodnight and Die Hard 2 is a great action movie, and Cliffhanger is a pretty solid action movie.
It's Stallone, right?
Yes, with Stallone. But Die Hard with a Vengeance, which comes out 5 years after Die Hard 2, 7 years after Die Hard. McTiernan Returns, and for the first time, we see John McClane as a New York cop. We see him in New York, because in the first movie he's in Los Angeles. In the second movie, he had moved out to Los Angeles, so he was LAPD, and they're in Dulles International, which is outside of Washington, D.C. So for the first time, we see him on his home turf. He also gets a partner in Samuel L. Jackson, and the two of them have a ton of great scenes and a lot of great lines between the two of them. Very good rapport between the two of them. Which was like right after Pulp Fiction that came out, even though they weren't technically on screen together in Pulp Fiction. But that was a big movie. That was a big hit. I think that might be the most profitable of all the Die Hard films. You probably have to factor in a little bit of inflation in there, but I think that's the biggest one. And it also loops back to the first one, with Jeremy Irons being the villain, being the brother of Alan Rickman's Hans Gruber. What's his name? He goes by another name in the film, and then they find out that he's, I think, Peter Peter Gruber. I have to go back and look that up, but I think that's his real name that they find out in the film. And Jeremy Irons is pretty good in as that villain. He's no Alan Rickman because he's pretty perfect of a villain, but he's really good. He's got some good lines as well. It's a lot of fun. It's got really good action sequences in it, and I think that movie is better than the second one. And as far as I'm concerned, those are the only 3 Die Hard movies that exist. I've only seen Live Free or Die Hard twice. No, I'll take that back, once.
And that's with Justin Long?
Yes, that's with Justin Long. As I shuffle through my notes here.
And, what's his name as the villain?
Oliphant. Timothy Oliphant. I think it's a waste of Timothy Oliphant. It's also PG-13, which...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah, and they even cut out the yippee-ki-yay motherfucking line.
What do they just... He says it and...
He says it, but I think when he goes to say motherfucker, there's like a gunshot that muffles it.
Oh.
That's dumb. Like, stop trying to market hard R action movies to a mass audience by making them PG-13. Make a hard R action movie. And I think that's what they were... PG-13 ends up being the most profitable rating.
So if they were to say that film had been written to be a hard R film like the original trilogy, do you think it would have been better?
Maybe better. Good, no. I think we had talked about it before on one of the episodes, and we'll get into it shortly. What makes Die Hard so good is he was just like the regular guy. Mm-hmm. You know, the second one gets a little where he does a little bit more, and it's kind of stretches the believability a little bit. But he's still the regular guy, and in Die Hard with a Vengeance, he's still the regular guy. And it seems like Live Free or Die Hard, he starts turns into like a much bigger, more ridiculous action movie where there's jets and he's like fighting on top of a jet and everything. And it starts to get ridiculous. It's like the Fast and the Furious being about like car thieves or whatever they were stealing in the first movie. Mm-hmm. Right? And then all of a sudden they turn into some kind of international like super squad of agents. Mm-hmm. And it gets more and more ridiculous. And that's how I feel about Live Free or Die Hard. And I've never seen
the one with the sun.
Never seen A Good Day to Die Hard, and I refuse to ever pay any attention to A Good Day to Die Hard. Even though I think that was R-rated. Where the hell are my notes on? I was going to trash that one, even though I've never seen it. I told you my notes are all over the place.
Who
They're not in any kind of order.
Who was the son again?
Jai Courtney. For some reason, Jai Courtney, like Gerard Butler, was some like
they were trying to make
action guy. They were trying to make happen by stuffing him in every single movie, and he fucking sucks.
Is Jai Courtney in Suicide Squad?
Yes, he is. He's Captain Boomerang.
And was he in Salvation? Or is that
no? That's Sam Worthington, which is another guy that they were kind of pushing. That I think kind of stepped it down a bit, and when he pops up like in a supporting role, he's much better than when they were trying to make him happen in a bigger role. Jai Courtney, he's in a very, very good movie, which is Jack Reacher, the first one, the Tom Cruise movie. He's one of the villains in that. He's okay in that. He really gets upstaged by the real villain in the movie, which is Werner Herzog. Mm-hmm. But that's the only good movie I can attest to ever seeing him in. I'd have to see what other movies he has been in, but I refuse to entertain the thought of watching that movie.
So, with that being said, are you? I know you're not stoked on it, but would you watch the John McClane movie that's supposed to happen?
No. So let's talk about the John McClane movie, because that is in my notes, and that is something that I wanted us to talk about tonight. I know that I've trashed it before when James brought it up on the news on one of the episodes. That might have been the Long Kiss Goodnight episode. No, because they're trying to make a prequel happen. They're trying to do the thing where, oh, here's this adventure that he had before the real adventure that he starts off on that launches this franchise. What made Die Hard work was he was just the regular guy caught up in this extraordinary circumstance. And now it's going to be, oh, well, actually, this happened to him before. Mm-hmm. Fuck out of here with that. So my news that I read, which was last week, so this isn't anything that broke this week, is that they're going to de-age Bruce Willis. I believe James brought that up on the news before. He's going to have a younger actress play Holly, play his wife Holly, and rumored that maybe he runs into some other characters from the Die Hard universe in the course of this film, which, what would be the point? Like, he meets all these people, like, when he was young, and doesn't remember them when he meets them again, like, later on when he's older? That's stupid bullshit. Stop.
Yeah, it's like plot convenience.
Yes, like, is he gonna meet, like, a young Al Powell, even though he doesn't meet him until Nakatomi?
Yeah, it doesn't...
And, like, he's a New York cop. Al Powell's in Los Angeles. So how are they going to cross paths? Like, how are you going to explain that he crosses paths with this guy, does not remember him when he turns out to be, you know, probably one of the people he's closest to over the course of Die Hard, the original Die Hard? But that's stupid. That's stupid. Fuck McClane. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying fuck McClane.
If they're gonna do this, I would say they should have done. Sorry,
that's okay.
Considered a different medium. They should have considered different medium, maybe like a video game. Mm-hmm. They've done a few Die Hard video games back when the PlayStation was big, which are really good. I actually owned most of them, and they were very fun. But if they were going to do some kind of prequel, I think that's the route they should have taken, or even a miniseries, you know, but not, I don't know, not a film.
It's a successful movie that they want to turn into a franchise, that they've been trying to turn into a franchise, which I don't think either Live Free or Die Hard or A Good Day to Die Hard were very profitable, because I think people were just starting to get over it. Like, why are you trying to make, like, shittier and shittier movies off the strength of this very strong original movie and two very good sequels? Which ended there, man. Things are good as a trilogy. I only own those 3 movies. I'm not going to own the other 2. I wanted to get the special edition, like, Nakatomi Tower, like, box set, but I don't want the other 2. Throw those in the garbage.
We haven't talked about Bruce Willis.
Okay.
So what do you think that these new movies are not as good because he's not that, he hasn't really done anything good? Since what's the last thing that he's done that you would say has been solid? Because I can't think of anything outside of Looper, and Sin City was way before that.
Yes,
he's in Sin City 2 for a few minutes, but nothing too big.
He's done a lot of, like, straight to Blu-ray or
doing the
straight
John
to Redbox.
John Travolta route.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of those. What's the last, like, great Bruce Willis movie? I mean, like you said, Looper.
He's fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to Glass.
Yeah.
So I hope that Glass is going to be good. But I don't know. I mean, you said Sin City. That was 05.
Mm-hmm. He's good in that, but that was a while ago.
Yeah. And he's good even though it's a small part. He's good in